Hey guys, welcome to my series / crash course on setting up Unity for the first time. The goal of this series is to be a quick start guide to any developer wanting to create a simple augmented reality project that can be exported to iOS or Android using Unity. I'm excited to share this with you all, so let's dive in and get going. The first thing we need to do is create accounts for this project. You will need a Unity account to download the Unity Hub software. The Unity Hub software is the tool you will use to download the actual Unity software and Unity tools, as well as manage your projects. This Hub software allows you to download older and newer versions of Unity. As you work on your projects, you'll find that sometimes you need an older version because it's more stable with this tool or that tool, or you've been working for a couple months and there's a newer version, you'll use this tool to update the current version of Unity that you're using. So I'm going to show you what it looks like here. If you look for id.unity or Unity account, you'll get to ID Unity's website. You come here and you're going to create a Unity ID. So you'll set everything up, make your new account, and go through that process. Once you're done, you'll have your Unity account. You can log in and you'll have access to download and do what you need to do. The next account you're going to need is a Pexels account. So Pexels is the tool we're going to use to get videos and photos and different things. It's free stock images and videos. This is a great tool just to get you started and find what you're looking for. So once you create this Pexels account, you'll come here, you'll hit join over here in the top right. You can see there's in the video section, you can put, beach or put whatever you want. And there's different videos here you can download and try out. You can see it playing here and just free sample material that we'll use later in the project. They also have images, and at this point we may not need this tool for the images because we're going to use a very simple target, but we just might come to Pexels and get our image from here as well. So just go ahead, make the account, keep it rolling. The next thing you're going to need is something called TurboSquid. So TurboSquid, very similar to Pexels, is a place you can go to get free and paid for 3D assets and models. What does that mean? So during this project, we're going to have things come into life in 3D, and you need a 3D model or a 3D object to do that. So you'll come here, you'll hit join on the top. Once you join, you can go through and start searching for different things. Here I put dinosaurs, right? When you hit the filter and price in the top left, you can hit free. And here you can find just some starter things to get us going and get us moving and just get the project going. Once you really start understanding this, and if you want to go down this path, I do recommend buying something that has the FBX and the OBJs. These files you'll need to go ahead and create these different experiences for your users and animate them and all those good things. That you'll figure out in another tutorial, but here we're just going to get things started and loaded and move on. The next thing you'll need is developer accounts. So this is an advanced step. It is not required, but I just want to make sure you understand what it is, why it's here, and all that good stuff. So if you open a developer account, there are currently two types that are most popular. There's Android and iOS. iOS is a $99 per year account. Android is $25 or $30 for a lifetime account. So you would go to Android developer account, and this is kind of weird. When you do this, when you click the link, it brings you to the studio, to the portal to download the tool and download Android Studio and do all these different things. What you really want is down here, the Google Play console, the Google Play console. Once you get there, that's where you'll get to sign in and you'll get access to open your account and do all those different things and actually get going on starting that process. That is something outside of the scope of this video. It's not hard, it's just a bunch of steps, and I'm not going to go through it for the sake of this video, but making you aware. The last phase is if you want an Apple, iOS, Mac developer account. Again, this account here, you'll click on Apple Developer. It'll take you to this page where you can see all the different features they offer, what have you. You will have to make an Apple account, so go ahead and create your Apple ID and go through all those steps and phases to get that going and do what's needed there. Once you're done, you'll be able to sign in, and you don't truly sign in as a developer on the Apple side. You'll have to pay the fee and sign up for a developer account, all those different things. It's not hard to do. On the Android side, it's not hard to do there either. It's steps. Go through it. You'll figure it out. Let's move on. So again, I want to reiterate that in the end, you do not need an Apple or Android developer account to continue. We will still be able to deliver the experiences to a phone, and we'll be using an Android phone because as you're doing this, it is easier to deliver to an Android device than it is to deliver to an iOS device. So if you have an old Android phone or anything laying around, a tablet, we'll be planning to use those for this experience. If you don't, just continue. They may have made changes since I've made this that it still allows you to export to iOS and push to your device. So don't give up, just keep moving forward, and we're going to move on with the experience. Let's go. All right, welcome back in. And the next step that we need to go through is to download our assets and just get the materials we'll need to start our project and get the project going. So the first thing we need obviously is a target. Well, not obvious to you yet, but the way augmented reality works is in this respect, you need a target for the camera to look at, and then it will lay the experience on top of said target. So we're going to get our target. So we're going to use a QR code because they're very easy to deal with. Their colors are very contrasting, right? So the one part is hard black, the other's hard white. So the computer camera can see it clear. So any target you use, if you want to use a dinosaur, you want to use a car, if the grass and the dinosaur are similar colors or different things are similar, cameras are not like the human eye. They can only perceive what they see, and it'll come off as very much the same. So try to use contrasting, very aggressive lights, very aggressive darks as your target, and you'll see good results. All right, so we're going to go to Google. We're going to search for QR code generator. The one that I'm using today that I've come to like is QR.io. You don't need an account for this. It's just a quick way to get something going. So you're going to come here. You're going to go to QR.io generator. You can see there's links. We're going to use that. So we're going to use something like apple.com. They have a compare MacBook models link, right? So we're going to use that as our target link. So we're going to paste that in the submit URL section, and you'll notice that in a couple seconds it will generate your QR code and you're done. You could download the PDF or SVG, what have you, or if you're on a Mac, you can even take a screenshot, so that way if you're worried about, downloading something else, you can just screenshot it and go about it. Take your phone, turn on your camera and point it at the QR code and see if it activates. If you get the, go to, when you tap it, make sure it goes to the site that you posted, and you're good. There are options. You could change the colors and all these different things. When you make your account, you get even more features and more things. For this, don't bother. Just use the basics. That way we can get going fast and move through this. Perfect. So now we have our target QR code. The next thing we want to do is find a video and a 3D model or object that will be displayed on top of this target. So we're going to start with the video. So let's go to pexels.com. If you made an account, perfect. Go there, find any video. You can see here I did MacBooks, or you can do whatever you want. Just find something. Don't spend too much time on it. Just get something small and something fast, something short, just to see the results work. Because once we're done, you could change all these things so easily. Don't get caught up in searching for the perfect picture and perfect. Just download something small. Perfect. So now we have our target. We have our video output. Now we're going to also download a 3D model as a 3D model output. So we're going to Google Sketchfab free models. And when we do this, Sketchfab has kind of a starter page. It has some beautiful assets we can download. Let's download one of these cars that are free. And then we're going to download the drone that has, propellers and things like that. That's also free. The formats that we're looking at are FBX and GLTF. I'm sure there are numerous formats that Unity can use, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're only going to download those two types of formats, and I want you to notice the different file size differences in those two formats. And as we drag them into Unity and it imports the packages, you'll kind of see how they act a little different or very similar. But again, just get a FBX, and OBJ is also another one, or GLTF. Great, so now we have all of our assets that we need. The next thing we need to do is download Unity. So let's go ahead and download the Unity Hub. So Unity is it's different in some respect, where With this application, you download the hub, and the hub is the place you'll go to get the latest version of Unity or a previous version of Unity for a project you're working on, but the hub is going to be your starting point for everything you do. Perfect. So now we've downloaded and installed Unity Hub. It's time to open it, log in, and get started. So on the bottom, you'll notice there's a community section, and this section just has different things and different resources. There is a Learn tab that has tons of tutorials, just different tools to get you started and really help you make things with Unity. There's the Install section, and here is where you download the Unity application, so to speak, where if I'm working on a team and they're using an older version of Unity, here I can go to Install Editor and find that exact version they're using. If I'm brand new, I'll come here and download the latest version and use that. When I download the latest version or any version, for the sake of AR, you want to add the Android build support and the iOS build support. And if you're doing anything else in the future, you'll know what to select. But you'll go through, select that, and then the very bottom, you want to add the documentation. That way it's there, it's downloaded. If you're offline, you have access to it. You go ahead, accept the license, you hit install, and you'll notice on the bottom left, there's a download box, and you'll see the progress of the download going. So if you're on a Mac and you run into a install failed error message like I did here on mine, this is simply saying the application for Unity Hub is downloaded to the applications folder. It's trying to download the versions of Unity into the same folder, and the app does not have permissions to write to the applications folder. All you have to do is change this directory and settings to your user account directory /Unity or / whatever you want to call it, and that will allow you to progress and download what you need to download. I tend to keep my Unity things in the same place. So my Unity installs are, I have a folder, so I have my home folder. I have a folder inside called Unity Installs, and then another folder inside called Unity Projects. And that way everything for Unity is stored in one place. And I actually have an extra folder called Unity Exports, where when we're done, we'll be exporting things out. Now our install is complete. We have Unity, we're ready to go. So we're gonna go up to Projects. We're gonna click on New Project. We'll search for AR. We're gonna name the project. You can just name it Test, Tutorial 1, whatever. So do that, hit Create Project. It's gonna download what it needs to download. It'll open up, it'll let you know if there's any updates for Unity, and would you like to download the newest version? That's all up to you, but again, run through those steps and we're ready to go. Okay, so welcome back. Now that we have Unity installed and we're ready to go, the next thing we need to do is download the packages to allow us to make these AR experiences. So I'm going to put those packages in the description. I'm also going to open a prior project that I made on the left and this new project on the right. That way we can see each thing in order and we should be able to match them up. If your experience looks like mine, the default layout, you will see packages on the bottom left. You'll see your favorites, your assets, you'll see packages. You want to right click on packages and click on View Package Manager. When the window opens, you want to hit Packages on the top. Change it from In Project to Unity Registry. This will allow you to search and download from the Unity Registry location. On the right hand side, you'll see a search box, and that's where you want to type in the different pieces you want to download one by one and install. I'll read the names off. As you can see in the video, they're all listed and we'll go one by one. We're going to download AR Foundation, AR Subsystems, ARCore XR plugin, and ARKit XR plugin. So in the search box, we'll type in ARKit. You'll see ARKit XR plugin. When you click on the name on the left, you'll see an install on the bottom right. When you click install, it'll download the package from their registry and load that for you. And you'll repeat these steps one by one for each piece you want to add to the system. So you want to go through the list, download the things that are listed, install them, and then move on to the next video. Now let's update our project settings. We're going to click on Edit, Project Settings. We're going to go down to the XR Plugin Management, and we're going to update our iOS and Android settings. So click on the Android tab. We're going to add ARCore. That'll install. We're going to click on the iOS tab and click on ARKit. Let that install. And next we'll go down to each section and make sure we have required for both. We're going to leave the other settings alone. We're going to go down to ARKit, and we're going to turn on face tracking and leave required checked. Our last step is to go into Project, Player, and update the other settings for iOS and Android. So we're going to come down, and the first thing we're going to do in iOS is update our build identifier. So we're going to click in the box. We'll put COM AR test 1, AR test 1. It's all set. We're going to go down. Make sure that your target is a minimum of 11, iPhone and iPad, and you're good to go. On the Android side, we're going to click Android, go to Other Settings. We're going to go down. We're going to make sure our graphics API only has the OpenGL, and then we'll move down a little further, and we're going to do the same steps. We're going to look for our package name, same, com.artest1.artest1. Make sure that your minimum API level is Android 7, and our target is the highest, and we are good to go. So at this point, we have our assets downloaded, we have our image and our video downloaded, we have our project settings, our packages all set up, and we are good to go. We're going to go ahead and go to File. We're going to click on New Scene. We're going to use the built-in experience, click Create, and that's going to give us a new untitled scene. So we click on File, go to Save As, and we're going to save this to our Scenes folder. And we're going to call this AR Video. The next thing we want to do is get rid of the main camera. So we're going to delete this. And we're going to add what we need to bring the AR experience to life. So let's right click. Let's go down to XR. We're going to add an AR session. That's all set. Make sure the transform is all zeros. If you see any other numbers here, just click the 3 dots. And you can hit reset properties or reset, and that'll clear that for you on the top, excuse me. Next, we're going to add AR session origin. That's all set. Again, make sure that your position is properly set. Click on the 3 dots, hit reset. Perfect. Let's go down and check our camera. That all looks good. Before we continue, I went ahead and changed my user experience from dark to light. I want to see if you guys can see better, if you get a better experience. The way I did this on a Mac, I clicked on Unity, I went to Settings, and when you're in Settings, you'll see General, and Editor Theme is right here. And here you can change it from light to dark. All right, I'm going to close this out. Let's move on. Our next step is we're going to click on the AR Session Origin. We're going to go to Add Components, and we're going to click AR, type an image, and you'll see AR Tracked Image Manager. Click on that, and this will be the tool we'll use to make the experience come to life. The first thing our AR Tracked Image Manager needs is a serialized library. So to do that, we're going to go down to our Images folder, and here I called mine AR Images. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to right click, go to Create. I'm going to go down to XR and Reference Image Library. I'm going to leave that there. And when I click on this, you'll see on the inspector that there's an Add Image button. So click on Add Image. And here I have a demo, my image in place. You'll take your image and just drag it on top of this. Done. Click on Specify Size. And here I'm going to put 0.15. I'm going to hit Tab, leave the way it is. I'm going to click the checkbox that says Keep Texture at Runtime. Click that. Now, if you have more than one image, that's not a problem. I'm going to show you how we can add both to our experience. Now I'm going to add another image. So I'll click on Add Image, and I have my QR code that we made earlier. I'm going to drag that in here. Again, specify size. I'm going to put 0.15. I'm going to leave the Y as it is. I'm going to click on Keep Texture. So now let's go to File and save our scene. And let's move on. So now our next step is creating the video experience. So what we're going to do is go over to the hierarchy. We're going to right click. We're going to create a 3D object, do a quad. We're going to rescale this, and our position is 0, 0, 0, rotation 90, 0, 0, and scale 0.15, 0.151. The next thing we need to do is add our video player to the quad. So go down, click on Add Component, type in Video. There's the video player, hit enter, and all we're going to do is make sure the play on awake is checked, check all 4 boxes, the loop is checked, and we're set. We're going to click on video clip, or we can go down to AR videos or videos folder, whatever you called your folder. I'm going to click on that, and I'll just drag it on top of the video clip here. And that's it. We've got our clip here. We have it all ready to go. So now to test your experience, we're going to click on our quad here. You're going to hover over the scene and press the F key on your keyboard. That'll zoom in where you can see a close-up. Now you'll click on the play button and you'll see the game is black. That's fine. Go back to the scene tab up here and you'll see your video playing. And that's how you know it's working. Now we're going to stop playing it and move on to the next step. So now we know our video experience is working. Let's add some 3D effects around it just to show that you can have a video and 3D assets in the same scene. So what we're going to do next is we're going to right click, click on 3D object, cube, sphere, pick whatever you want. I'll pick a cube. And just like the quad where our position was all zeros, our rotation is 90 with a 0, 0. Our scale is 0.15, 0.15, and a 1. We're going to click on the cube. Positions all zeros, rotation, we could put a 90, doesn't matter, it's a cube. The scale, we're going to put that at 0.15, 0.15, and this time make the Z also 0.15. Now you can see he's right on top of the quad. So let's just grab the cube and slide him over to the side. All right, and we can just right click and we can copy this. The blank space here, we can right click and paste it. Now we have 2 cubes. This cube is now on top of the other one, so grab it and pull it to the other side of the video. And now you have 2 cubes. So now we have our experience, we have everything we're going to show to the user. Let's put this all into one piece so we can add it to our AR session object. So what we're going to do is right click, we're going to create an empty, and you'll get an game object. All right, now over here in the inspector where the name is, I'm going to click the name and I'm going to type in prefab with a dash game object. Do you have to do this? No. I'm doing this just to show you what things are as we move along through this piece. So now we're going to grab the quad, the cube, and the second cube. We're going to drag them one by one. So grab the quad, drag it right on top of the prefab. Let go, and now you can see it's under it. Grab the cube right on top of the prefab. And the second cube right on top. And you can move this around in the list by dragging the line. This would come into play if you had more than one things in your scene and you're trying to position them. That's how you would go about doing it. So for our prefab, we have our quad with a scale of 0.15 and a 1. That's fine. We have our cube with a 0.15, 0.15, 0.15. Our other cube, the same. The scales are 0.15 in all 3 boxes. And the prefab itself is all zeros for position, all zeros for rotation, and the scale is a 111. Now let's click on File and save our scene. Great, so now we have our prefab completed. We have our cubes and our videos all set. We're going to go down to our assets and you'll have your images folder, your videos folder, and if you don't have it already, make a prefabs folder. So you can right click and you can hit create and make a new folder. Call it prefabs, AR prefabs, whatever you like. I'm going to click on that folder and drag this prefab down into here. And there we go. Now we've made our prefab. And what does this mean? I can come up here, I can right click and delete the prefab. Now it's gone from the scene. I can drag this here once, I can drag it here twice, and I can move it around. You'll see you have two of the same component or same object. You made your own custom object, which requires a video and two cubes. You can click it and you can right click and delete it. And you'll see you're not breaking your scene because the prefab is here waiting for you. Let's move on to the next step. So now our last step is to bring everything together. So we're going to click on our AR session origin. And under the AR tracked image manager, you'll see there's no library and there's no prefab. So we have our prefabs folder. Drag your prefab on top of this. Now it's in the list. You can also click the arrow here and find it by typing in prefab dash, and you'll find the object you made. Click on images folder or AR images. Here is our reference that we found. So I'm sorry, go back to AR session origin. So now we're going to drag this over into the serialized library and we're done. Our next step would be to go to File and click on Build Settings. Here we don't have our scene, but if you built other things, you will see your scenes listed. So make sure you click Add Open Scene and the name should match. So AR Video, AR Video. And if you have multiple, just check and uncheck the one you plan to build. So in this case, we're only doing one-offs. So I'm only going to build this one scene. If I had 5 in the list, I would uncheck all of them and only check the scene that's in front of me. And from there, you click on Build. So now we have everything in place. Now you can move on to delivering and building and pushing the experience to your device. Now let's run our experience. Click on File, Build Settings. And here you will see iOS and Android. So let's click on Android. We're going to click on Development Build. Let's click on iOS and we're going to click on Development Build. Now click the platform you actually plan to build on and you want to click the Switch Platform button. It's going to start doing what it needs to do and importing the settings and loading. Once everything is complete, you'll see a Unity icon, and this lets you know which platform you're currently building on. When I click on Build, it'll ask me where do I want to save these files. So I'm going to hit the drop down here. And what I like to do, I like to add a new folder, call it Builds. In this folder, I like to add 2 folders. So one for Android, and it moved me. So I'm going to go up, I'm going to go back to Builds, and add a new folder for iOS. I'm going to go back up and you can see in your builds folder you have both. So me, I'm doing Android. I'm going to double click Android. I'm going to name this file. So AR test 1. I'm going to hit save. Now before you click the build button, make sure you add your scene to the experience. Then click build and it'll build the application file. It'll ask you, do you want to save your current changes to the scene? You're going to say yes, save scene. Once your build is complete, the file will appear in its folder and you can drag this onto your phone or you can click on the build and run and that will build it and run it to your phone. Once the build is complete on iOS, you open the iOS folder, you go down to the Xcode project. When you double click it, it'll open up Xcode. It'll process and load the index files. And once that's complete, you're able to plug in your phone and run this off your phone from Xcode. You will have to put your phone in developer mode. There are some steps to show you how to do so, but you are good to go from that point on. Now that we've tested and verified the experience is running, you can use the assets you've downloaded and add them to your experience. You can do this in 2 ways. Option 1, right-clicking the assets folder in the project view, or option 2, in the project view, left-click on the assets folder and right-clicking on the blank space to the right. Click Create, click Folder, you'll name it and you're all set. Let's start by adding the following folders: 3D models, prefabs, images, scripts, and videos. Once our folders are created, we can begin drag and dropping our assets. Put your videos in the videos folder, images in the images folder, our 3D models and assets are currently in zip files. We cannot drag and drop those into Unity. First, we must unzip the folders, then drill down into the source folder and unzip the source file as well. Once this is completed, then we can drag the unzipped main folder into our 3D models folder. Now we have our 3D models in our source folder. We can drag the FBX or OBJ model files into the scene. You can tell which files to drag because they will have a play button on top of their image. You can position your models by using the arrows to drag them left, right, up, and down using the X, Y, and Z axis. You can also rescale and resize your assets by putting different values in the scale value. You can click on the Scene tab and use your scroll wheel on the middle of your mouse to zoom in and out of the experience. You can also click on an object and press F to zoom in and find that object. You can also hold the Alt key and drag to rotate the screen. Some assets will come with multiple textures that can completely change the appearance of the object. You can drag and drop these textures on top of your objects and get different results.